Should we live together before marriage, sharing a home, personal decisions, financial decisions, and more than just dating? Religious texts say no, as many result in premarital fornication, and there are laws that pass by legislation that forbid it. Studies from the 1950s, 60s, 70s, and 80s all came to the same conclusion that sharing and living together before walking down the aisle and committing to a lifetime of togetherness results in less satisfying marriages and greater incidences of divorce. If this is true, that bad are more people trying to be unhappy and getting divorced. Why? According to the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, it had the percentage of couples that cohabitate before marriage increased steadily since the 50s. The National Institute of Health cited a study that the multitude of studies may not have looked accurately, and that the relationship between divorce and cohabitation is not an apple to apple comparison, while it is easy to draw a comparison between the increase in cohabitation rates in American couples with the increase in divorce rates. It may have led to a greater selection into marriage, and other factors may be influencing the increased rate of divorce. A study from the Council of Contemporary Families found that moving in before marriage does not make you a divorce statistic, but picking a life partner too early just might. The information is supported by the work of a graduate student at the University of Pennsylvania using the U.S. government's national surveys of family and growth from the 90s to the 2000s. Over 7,000 marriages were analyzed, and the age at which people said "I do," it found that people who were married at the age of 18 dissolved their marriages about 60% of the time. The people who wait 5 years later and marry at 23 years old experience a divorce rate that is half of that. My mother has been married twice and without cohabitation each time. She said that she wished she would have had lived with her first husband before and may have discovered that he was physically abusive before she said "I do." Researchers from the study published in the Journal of Marriage and Family state this may change how researchers define cohabitation of couples. The experts warn that the science should change the way couples think about living together. That is not something not to be taken lightly. Couples cite living together to share responsibilities, get a first-hand look at partners' spending and living habits, bonding on a deeper level, and a freedom to end the relationship without a divorce. Couples say it is cleaner and like test driving a car, easier to walk away if things don't work out. Psychology Today study found that couples who live together before tying the knot tend to argue more, have difficulty resolving conflicts, and are more insecure about their partner's feelings, and have less relationship confidence about the relationship. This study did not factor into whether these couples ended up being married. There are couples that share a relationship that do not live together and are not happy. Part of being happy in a relationship is finding someone who loves and supports you. Psychologists and relationship experts warn to not take living together lightly. Like marriage, there should be a plan. If you do not work out, plan for what happens if the relationship ends. Plan for the separation of shared items and plan for who lives in the shared space. Having these hard conversations can assist a couple in growing together and experiencing a healthy relationship. Marriage can be complex between two individuals who have chosen to blend their lives together. And while marriage may work out for people without living together, first, there are a lot of people who are dating and living together, getting married, and having children later in life than previous generations. Before they walk down the aisle, individuals have decided that living with a partner is viable way to determine if marriage is the best with the individual beforehand. While it may not be for everyone, freedom to choose and make that decision is unique to everyone's situation, and that comparability easier than a divorce alternative. Personally, cohabitation worked well for myself as living together with my husband for 8 years, then transitioned to marriage and children seamlessly. We have purchased a home and made professional and personal decisions together and intertwined our lives over time opposed to overnight.